Greetings, everyone. This on the spot video is focused on an overview for how we are using the textbook this semester. I want to remind you that this is an OER, it's an open educational resource textbook. It is free and it is everyone's first time using it. So, as this document is very large, I broke it down into parts and sections instead of giving you a 500 plus page PDF file. So to access the parts of the textbook, you want to go to course documents. And I'm going to scroll down to the sections for the empowered text. So we have the front matter, and part one, which we're using for the first major writing assignment, part two, second major writing assignment, part three, third major writing assignment, and then we have the back matter, which has a lot of other extra stuff. So what I want to just show you here is when you click on the attached files, and I believe I said this in a previous video, it will bring you inside an area and it's going to have that section of the book broken down into pieces. And so what I want to look at is the table of contents. So the table of contents, how we're going to use this book. If I haven't already asked you, I will ask you to read the section of the text called How to Read the Book, this book for students. And then I want you to take a second to look at our table of contents here. So I've given you part one and you have several attachments because even part one itself is over 100 pages. So I didn't want to give you these gigantic pieces, but think about it this way. Part one of the text is going to be used for the first writing project. So all three of these chapters you need to be familiar with in order to complete the assignment, which is the first project is the descriptive personal narrative. And to get that done, you have to work with all three of the chapters. Same thing with the second writing project. There are 3 chapters, and then there's the assignment. And then the third part of the book, there are 3 chapters, and then there's the assignment. Now, the assignment that I've given you for this third part is slightly different, but you still have these 3 chapters leading up to an assignment. The other thing I want you to pay attention to is inside of each of these chapters. So right now, let's just focus on part one, which is this assignment to write a descriptive personal narrative. Chapter one contains information about writing choices, techniques, and activities that will get you practicing how to write descriptively about experiences. Part two will give you techniques and activities designed around narrative, that's storytelling activities, like chronological order and things like that, how to shape a whole story. And then part three will focus on reflecting on an experience. You have to have pieces of all 3 of these to complete the assignment. Okay, now each chapter also gives you example student essays. So when you look at the example student essay, or the model, our textbook calls it, when you look at the model essays in chapter one, it's going to focus on descriptive writing choices. And when you look at the model essays in chapter two, it's going to focus on storytelling techniques. And when you look at the model examples in chapter three, it's going to focus on how writers reflected on telling their experience. And then you have the task that you have to do some combination of all 3 of these things. Okay, so when it's your turn, I'm going to go back to Blackboard here. And I'm going to go to part 1. So in part 1, you have the introduction and then the 3 chapters. And as I said, each of these chapters will give you student models that focus on the techniques and the activities and the practices that you did with those activities in each of these chapters. And then you have the assignment, and then you have this separate document for model essays. This last document here, I'm just going to open it. So this is an additional set of student authors who are writing the same type of essay you're being asked to write. And so here, you want to make sure you are using the models that come after the assignment, because these models will have information about how the writer uses a combination of the writing strategies you found in all 3 chapters to create their text. So this is how we're using our text. Each major writing assignment has 3 chapters with techniques and activities. They also have example essays that focus on those techniques. The assignment has the specifics of what you're doing, and then you also have models for the assignment that combines a variety of writing choices. And for the question of how long should should your final documents be, they should be as long as the examples that follow the assignment that you have. So I don't tell you it have to be 4 pages or 5 pages, but what I do want you to keep in mind is that when you look at how long the examples are, this is about 5 pages, your writing should model the examples that are provided. And so this is basically how we are using this text. I hope this answered most of your questions. The one other thing I want to add about this text is what the short assignment that you're working on has to do with reference pages. And I did that on purpose because I want to preview some of the types of things you are going to need to do with sources that you will be using for our last assignment. So if you just want to take a sneak peek at what our book says about bibliographies and annotated bibliographies, specifically, you can look at chapter 9 now. Otherwise, this is my overview for how we're using this text.